So, Sami, guess what? We're finally doing this podcast.
Oh, we doing it.
Can we believe this? How many months has it been?
That's a good question.
And look, everybody, welcome Sami to the podcast. Sami, tell everybody who you are.
I sure will. Hi, Tim. Thank you for having me on your show. I'll do this in 30 seconds so I can keep it nice and neat for you.
Are we stuck on a 30-second rule all of a sudden?
No, it's just been my life rule.
Oh!
You interrupted my 30 seconds.
Start over.
Start over. Hi, Tim. Thank you for welcoming me to this. Anyway, so my 30 seconds. Hush, so I could do this. Okay, so full name Sami. Hey, good. Everybody has a bunch of different names for me. A lot of the time I go by Sai too. Let's see. Quick things about me. Have a history in libraries, nonprofits, theater, movies, production, summer camps, cruise ships. Have done all of it. I like to be a jack of all trades. I like to continue doing that. I'm friends with Tim because we are the same type of person when it comes to that level of colorful as fuck, and jack of all trades. And yeah, I too am making a podcast, and me and Tim just seem to be in sync with our life stories right now when it comes to our careers. And that's me. How'd I do?
I think you did good.
Okay, good.
But
because I'm all about feedback.
So you just said we're friends, so at least we have that. But Sami's also a client. He was a client of mine back in 2016. He brought me the Accord.
Yes, my good old Honda Accord. May she rest in peace.
What was wrong with the Accord?
Well, at the time.
Well, it's kind of like, why did you bring it to me?
Right.
You know?
Okay. To save myself, that was the first car that I had ever gotten. And it was a hand-me-down because, you know, families in the hand-me-down.
I think we always get a hand-me-down.
Exactly,
as the first
but
one.
just to let you know that it's kind of like you get your first car to like run into the ground.
It's like, here's your freedom, but you won't make it far with it.
You won't make it far. And I took that little 03 Honda Accord, everybody, silver, bless her heart. And I just, like over the years of just me being in college and everything else, the wear and tear of that car, I was not keeping that car up. Like that car got its gas, it got its oil change when I remembered. And then I would just get used to all of its issues because it was just old. It was just old, but for so long.
But I think the only thing we did with it was we just did the interior, right?
It was just the interior.
Because you had what, like water or something? Or it just smelled mildewy or something?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. It was like I forget what had caused like the water leak, but it was like that plus, you know, stuff was coming off the side. The seats were leather and they were super old.
They were starting to crack and everything.
And then I had like a soda in the car one day. And it just blew the fuck up. And I was like...
Oh, you had headliner stuff too going on.
Yeah, because it...
Yeah.
And even you was like, okay, yeah.
It's going to be here for a little bit.
It's going to be... Yeah.
Yep.
And then it was like, I low-key did treat you as like, okay, he going to help me just... I'm tired. Okay, yeah. Tim going to help me fix my life. It's like, he going to pay me back for that trip. Okay, Tim. Tim.
Yeah, look, y'all, we had a big old discussion before this about a trip that was, oh boy, it changed our lives.
Changed our lives.
We said changed everybody's life.
For the better.
Shout out to Alex.
So
yeah, but yeah.
Right. So at that moment, and then that was, whenever I brought the car to you, oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, whenever I brought the car to you, I was at an intersection of my own life because I was just leaving to go to be on a cruise ship and work there. And I was like, okay, if mom's taking care of this car and, I'm like, I'm getting rid of all this baggage that send it, get the car redone.
Yeah.
And then mom loves you to this day because when that car came back, she was like, my car.
It was reminiscent of when she first bought it.
She's like, and the seats and the...
Yeah.
And the...
Didn't you tell me like a month later she was still in love with it? Oh my God.
Yep.
Where's that car at now?
Well, they took it. It was totaled.
Oh, wait. What?
The ending journey was the axle. Like I took care of it, y'all. Like just to say, like at the end of the day, I learned how to take care. I did. Like after I got it back from the ship, I was like, okay, gonna keep it like this. And that car stayed. Yeah. And I was like, okay, and I'm on my shit because guess what? I was mature. So I was like, oh, look at the difference in how I treat my car. And just then the wear and tear really kicked in. And, I knew to expect some things, like every spring, something was going to happen with the AC, whether it was the condenser or something else. And I had taken it, moved it to New Orleans, where I is now. And I was like, ugh, these noises you make in Honda. But then this is to answer your first question, how long we've been talking about this. It's been since March because that's when we reconnected because that's when I got my new car.
Yeah, and how did we reconnect? I don't even understand how that even happened.
I was like, well, my axle fell out this Honda. Because of Gentilly.
Ooh, the roads.
You know, and just 03 Honda. I'm like, okay, but it did me one solid and died in the parking lot of Trader Joe's. And that was a whole rescue story. That was funny.
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, okay, I need a new car. I need something that will take care of me, that I will take care of. I want to feel safe. Who knows about cars in your life?
Ding, ding, ding.
And then Tim.
Yeah.
And then at the very least, as I was like going on all the damn things, like consumer reports and everything to figure out what can I afford, what's about to happen. Rona was happening. Ugh. I was like, all these things. And I was like, how do I take care of this car once I have it? Tim. I was like, hey.
And we hadn't talked for how long? Like 2 years, maybe?
Yeah. The last time we had seen each other was like
New Year's of 2018?
Will's show.
Oh.
It was like in the summer? No? Spring? I would need to check.
2018?
I think it would be 2018.
I know I didn't have any contact with you on 2019, though.
Yeah, none.
So, the new car.
Toyota CHR 2018 XLE.
You love it?
Love it. Love it.
You feel grown up now?
I do. I got my little... I didn't bring it with me because I needed to bring it in the house, but I got my little car vacuum. Anytime I see dirt, I'm like,
How do you like that document I sent you?
Oh, that was great. So that's why I wanted to reconnect. I was like, Tim, I need you to send me everything I need to maintain this car. And you still need to work on one for my interior too.
Oh, yeah. I haven't even made that yet. So, and you other clients, you're looking for these. I'm sorry, I don't have an interior one because Tim hates interiors. But exterior, I got you covered. But no, yeah. So, I mean.
Yeah. No, Tim sent me y'all like this whole like cheat sheet of how to maintain and wash. I was like, okay now. And it matched with what I saw on Consumer Price. But in case I didn't find that stuff, I was like, oh, good job. Where it was like, wash the car with this. Remember Sami. And it was like, I could just hear it in his voice. Get 2 buckets now, child.
So seeing that you have that now and you have that document. And then before you brought me the other vehicle, what did you know about detailing though? Did you even consider it? Did you even know what detailing was? Or you just clean a car and you're just like, I'm just washing dirt off on it?
Nope. The only experience I had with detailing was the car wash movie. And it ain't even about detailing.
To be honest with you, I never watched that movie. And a lot of people use those references all the time. Was that a bunch of naked guys or a bunch of naked girls?
Car wash?
Yeah.
It was a movie about just these black men at a car wash.
Oh!
Yeah.
It goes to show where my head's at.
You thinking of Girls Gone Wild?
At a car wash.
No. In the 70s or 80s, bitch, the song.
They wore short. Yeah, but they wore short shorts and everything like that. Sometimes
they
everybody
was all in jumpsuits.
See, I don't know. I ain't never watched the movie.
Because they watched the song Car Wash is from this movie.
So why are some of these people saying, do you wash cars in short shorts? And I'm like, no, I only wear that in my house.
Well, because you just wear short shorts, Tim.
I do. Fuck. Because I can. Sorry.
So they're probably just really asking you, like, are you washing cars in these same shorts?
Well, that wouldn't make sense for me to do that at my shop. I mean,
I feel like, yeah, you did just miss like where I feel like they kind of like sexualized you a bit.
Yeah, I confused them. Look, we turned that into a tornado. Woo! I'm like, I don't want to do that.
I feel like if anyone, I'm like, they may either be like clocking and saying like, so you wash.
Or they might be hitting on me too.
That's okay. So he got it, America.
I'm a little slow. I'm a little slow. I stay in my world.
When it's not business, it's dogs.
All you gotta do is throw a satellite, and sometimes I'll catch the signal.
Right.
Don't worry.
Oh, bless.
That's the weirdest metaphor I've ever had, but that's okay. At least you understood.
Yeah.
No. So detailing. Go back to it.
Right. Didn't know much besides it's not car washing. And
you know how many times I get a phone call? Can you do a full detail on my car? And it's like, what kind of detailing do you want? And then they get offended. They get offended because I ask them that, and they're like, well, to be detailed. It's like, your level and my level might be different. And then you tell them the price, and they go crazy. And I'm just like, Bye.
Right. Well, my thing first is like, you ain't got no more details about detailing. I just think that's funny how they never give you details about what you want detailed. I'm like, you want detailed? Let me be vague. Yay, English.
Yeah.
But then once I saw, like, it took me seeing you in your shop and you just talking about what you did every day to be like, oh, so he's just a car doctor.
I'm the hospital bitch.
Right? Or kind of like the nip tuck of cars, right?
Yeah, because you could say that because that's an elective luxury type of thing.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, because like, and sometimes, you know, like they got like all these like face surgeons and whatnot who be doing stuff that's like necessary. Like, you know, I got a second nose. I don't need this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, so that's how I saw this in you. I was like, oh, like plastic surgeon, but of cars. Okay.
And I can trust him to do the right thing, too.
Right? Give me a facelift, please.
Yeah. And we did it to the interior, as your mom said. She still remembers that to this day. Love
and
your mom.
supports you. Oh, she says, hey.
Love her.
She was
Love
like,
her.
you and Tim still? She's just like, and I only met you she remembers 2 times.
I think it was 3 because I stayed in the garage one time because we were only there real quick, and she came to the door, and she did tell me hi.
Okay.
I remember that. And every time we went there, it was freaking dark for some reason.
Yeah.
What are we doing? We only work in the shadows, obviously.
I mean, I have no, but no, she definitely, remembers you fondly because of this car.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, do you want to write the review? Like,
and the review you left, look, when I put it on the website, I had to make 2 separate reviews to cut that in half. But you did very well, and you were thorough with it.
I was like, look at me. I basically did half this podcast as the review. I was like,
and it's at the bottom of the website.
Is it right? I was like, hey, let me tell you my life story.
But your review is not like the one where it just goes, Tim did a great job. And it's like, well, did the kindergartner write this, or did the 40-year-old person that actually paid me do this? Because we probably have a discussion in the shop. Just they gave me more information. I wish a lot of people would do that with a review. I wish they would tell me in the review what they told me in person.
Mm-hmm. Nope. And I was blunt both ways.
Yeah, you said it like we say it right here.
Right. I was like, you gonna know what I liked, which was all of it. You know, it was like, okay, I didn't know nothing. I'm trusting this man. I'm glad I trusted this man. And that was like the review in so many words, but it was much longer.
Yeah, 2 paragraphs.
It was 2 paragraphs.
But that's the best reviews because that's a genuine review.
Yeah, and then it was sad that I had to go on the ship and not drive the damn car. I was like, well, fuck. Now the car is good. And you know that whole summer Mom drove that car. Like,
well, yeah,
she was so happy.
She was going to suck that up
She
right
was
there.
so happy. Oh, my God.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
I think she did that on purpose.
Right? She was like, the car is so... Didn't even touch her own car.
Well, yeah.
The whole of my first contract.
Oh, now I'm going to clock her. Why she didn't bring me her car?
She hasn't really had anything to do with it yet, but I'm sure she would if I just told her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like, hey, you want to go get your car detailed?
Mom, where you at?
Actually, she should because she has like somewhere. I'll tell her.
Yeah.
I don't know why she just doesn't, sometimes she's just like, those are Sami's friends. I need to get like, she'd be like, oh, we'll make Tim come by. That's why she's extra super excited I'm here too.
Why?
It's like, yeah, just to be like, because she's an introvert. So she's like...
Oh, well then I can relate because I don't want to bother people either.
Right. She's like, I'll just wait until Sami brings him over or something.
Little does she know I'm not popping up tomorrow. Poor thing.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'll tell her. Oh, my God. I'll tell her. I was like, oh, bless. Oh, bless.
So where are you living at these days, Sami?
I am in Metairie. Right, Orleans area. Just thinking now, well, no, we have a good 6 feet at least between us.
Yes, we do.
Right. So
and don't worry, the microphones will catch any of my droplets. Well, maybe, I don't know. That's not what Fauci says, huh, Trace? No? Okay.
Trace Dugar, everybody.
Yeah, that's our audio engineer. And I feel sorry for him because he's hunchback. Even though he's short, he's hunchback as he's trying to work equipment over there. Poor guy.
I had to say that man was
Let me
short.
get you a better chair, don't worry.
I had to say his height.
Made it happen.
No, I can't help it. I'm a tree, you're a tree, and he's the
I'm secure with my height.
person under the tree.
He has the best sense of gravity. How about that?
The lowest center of gravity.
The lowest center of gravity.
Yeah, the wind will blow us down, and he's going, what's wrong with y'all?
He is sturdy.
He's planted.
Rooted.
Grounded.
No, he's not. He just got grounded because he just got his own place finally again.
Yes. Happy.
Oh, yes.
Woot.
We're happy for you. Don't worry.
it's just been this journey between all three of us.
But we're walking down the road together.
So
Right.
you're saying journey. Okay, so now where has your journey taken you in Metairie?
In Metairie. Okay, so whenever I moved to New Orleans, like fall 2018, I had like this whole thing where I was like, okay, what's my job going to be? Because I moved out there thinking I was going to like sing and make fudge at this place called the Fudgery on the Riverwalk. And then like the day
By
before.
Jack's Brewery?
Yeah.
Oh my
It's like-
God.
it's like-
I think I know what you're talking about. They're probably not even open anymore though, huh?
I don't even know. I believe they wouldn't be because like how you keep a shop open like that?
Well, New Orleans has the highest cases of COVID, I believe, and you still can't have people inside your businesses when it comes to occupancy levels.
Yeah, Kentrell just said she just closed down a whole bunch of more bars because of no alcohol to go.
How the hell can that city survive?
That's what I'm wondering, because the locals are saying it's as bad as Katrina.
So
I
how
wasn't
is-
there for Katrina, but like the economy hit worse than Katrina. Because even after Katrina, you could open something,
Yeah,
you could make some money, you could get together.
The day after it left, the bar said, "The hell with it. If I can sweep this water out or get it out of my shop, you can come have a drink."
Right? And then how many daiquiris do we know of named Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Rita? Like they market.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like we
Oh,
came
yeah.
back and we did what we did with that. But with this, like you hit New Orleans where it's like hardest, which is gatherings of people. It's social, right? It's gatherings of people. It's music. It's drinking. It's having a good time. You said we couldn't do that together, so it's like,
Poor child. Now he's just squatting now. He's like a squatter.
I was for a hot minute.
Oh shit.
Anywho, the journey. Okay, got there. I was living on the West Bank for a time. I had like 4 jobs at one time, cause again, thought I was going for one job. Ended up so I like planned everything. Moved out there. Was like, okay, I need to get a job now. Like I had some savings. You know, I was like, okay, let's do that. Took about 5 months because New Orleans is a slow ass city. Like it is not about the hustle in the way that like Chicago, LA, you know, New Orleans is like, it'll happen if it happens. When it happens. You know, bon temps roulette.
Laissez les bon temps rouler. Well, no, that's let the good times roll though.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, depending on the French you speak. Someone asked me if you spoke French. I was like, I speak Cajun French. They were like, what kind of speak some Cajun French? I was like, okay, baby. Legnons, meshes, meshes, lanya. He's like, that ain't French.
Bitch, that ain't no words.
Where I'm from, it is.
That's a language we all know.
That's we all
and
know.
embrace.
Derwan,
Sha.
Chalet.
Oh wait, no. Shaz French, isn't it? Huh?
I forget the
It is?
actual.
Sha?
Yeah, that's Cajun.
But then they spell it like share, and I don't get that.
Because that's the actual French way to spell it.
No, somebody said that and they texted that to me. I was like, I don't know that
Share.
bitch.
Yeah.
I know she friends with Kathy
It's
Griffin.
supposed to be share. We say share.
Sha is where it's at.
And that's share. That's
S-H-A.
us.
That's
yeah,
it.
S-H-A. Share.
I'm good.
We know what you...
Don't send me no share. I ain't never listened to her music, and I don't.
And they
plan
don't
on.
say it outside of here. I do miss that. It's like, oh, you know, because I'll be driving through and say, thank you, Share. And they'll be like, what? Or, you know, like, get down real quick and go to the, you
Time
know.
to go make some groceries.
Time to go make... They don't do that. It's
Man.
like, oh...
Del Monte make groceries.
Right, baby. It's like I come back here and I'm so happy whenever I get to my like favorite restaurants, which have like been closed, like Don's closed. I'm like, what the hell?
No, Don's closed.
Don didn't close?
No, Don's closed. You got to sit outside.
Okay.
They got a big. No, see the one downtown. I don't think is open.
Yeah.
Cause
That's the one I like.
yeah, but the one that's on Johnson Street still popping. I turn that corner every day and boop, that they sitting outside in the heat. And I'm sorry, I'm not sitting out in the heat. I don't think I'm going to a restaurant till next year. What do you think you're gonna do?
I mean,
Have you been to any restaurants?
most of my friends are chefs. I don't think I've gone to sit in a restaurant since March.
Really?
Yeah. The last place we went into was to do some crawfish for my birthday, which is when the governor announced that we're in a state of emergency.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yes, birthday. Uh-huh, sure. Let's deal with another economic collapse before I'm 30. All right.
How does New Orleans recover from this?
Yeah.
How?
How do they indeed? I'd like to know too. Like, because first off, you know, everything that we make money off of is a festival. The hospitality and tourism is what like fun, it's like the lifeblood of that city. So I have like a bunch of chef friends, almost all chef friends, you know, or people who are directly related to this industry in some way.
Yeah.
You know, I got one dude who does film stuff, but that kind of died out whenever Jindal effed up our tax credits some years back whenever he was still in office. So Hollywood done left in the way that it was back when we were in college. And, like, because my degree is in film. So it's like that was something we were all like, okay, we can go to New Orleans and do that. And then whenever that got taken away, it's like, well, What?
Crickets.
Right? So we don't have that. And then even then, movies aren't really, like, they're just starting to get into production again. But then when you've got, like, hotels and everyone who has a job in the hotel, my friend said at the Ritz, she's not going back until October.
Yeah, the Hilton actually said nobody was going to go back to work at certain brands of the Hilton, well, sub brands. They were done. They were done for the year because there's just no way they can bounce back. I'm very surprised that Disney World or whichever one's in Florida opened back up.
So is their staff, because I still got my Disney people, and so like they all just kind of clocking it. Like even your cruise line.
I was gonna say, what about the cruise lines? Ain't that where it came from? Didn't it come off a cruise ship first?
No, it came from those people.
They just kept them out there in the water. Because I just remember, or was that a whole different sickness?
That was
before?
that was like that's separate. There were a bunch of ships who had it, and then like they had to stop. But the initial cases came, remember those people were held from coming back from China back when China was blowing up.
Yeah.
You know, and that's whenever they were saying it first got to America.
Yeah.
But even though if you talk to just every other person, it's like, no, I think it was here longer than that. You know.
Yeah, because it's true. Because I do have clients, and they did say they felt the same symptoms in December and stuff like that. But I just kind of thought that it blew up at the same time the cruise ships were starting to drop people off.
Well, no, and then like all of it was like intersecting at that point too.
Yeah.
You know, so then they said whenever Trump closed the borders, all the Americans off the boats go.
Yeah.
Goodbye. But then they still kept them on there, like the rest of everybody.
Like some hostages.
Basically, like, you know.
Prisoners of Azkaban. What is that, Azkaban? Yeah.
Yeah. One of them.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So then eventually they like finally grounded them, I think like last month. So now everybody across the world now went back home. And the ones who were at the parks were telling me like how it's just been like an act of Congress to get any. Like, Florida just treats its people like a dumpster fire.
Obviously.
They, like, they were still struggling now just to get unemployment. Like, any level of unemployment. And then when you got the parks opening back up with the creepy-ass mask video, did you see that? Like, the welcome back video? Creepy as shit.
You telling me the park was promoting being reopened with
social
some kind
distancing?
of weird mask thing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought outside. But I think when you're outside, as long as you stay away from somebody, you don't need to wear the mask, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if it's like at a park and you know you're going to have some distance, you're good. But they're in Disney. You're waiting in lines.
Well, I don't think you can even distance from anybody at Disney because you see the pictures of the people. They're like what we used to call it in the Navy, nut to butt almost. I'm dead serious. That's what they used to say in the Navy.
I mean, but same, you know? And so now it's like, well, what's the quality of your trip? Like, who is really trying to have a vacation right now, first of all?
And where did you get the money to have a vacation? Because we all unemployed.
Yeah. I'm like, it's specific types of people doing this right now. I'm like...
Selfish people.
Yeah, just people who just in denial, just kind of like, you know, because... And then people who just have like that, you know, because I know some people who tried to go on vacations, you know, like vacations. Like I know some people who are just going on trips because they're like, I need to leave the house and just go and see something. And I'm like, okay, cool. But the ones who are trying to go on a vacation, you know, it's like.
How about you do something different? We have a pandemic going on. How about you just do something different that doesn't include the public right now? Right.
It's like, this is a good time to reassess. Do you like your life? That's been happening a lot. So it's just been interesting as people kind of navigate what their lives are post-COVID.
Yeah. So with all that going on out there, I mean, for work for you, I mean, what are you doing now?
Of the 4 jobs, I settled on one, which was being a behavior technician, which is like behavior interventionist technician, whichever. It's kind of like, you know that book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People?
Yeah.
I'm like a walking version of that for like autistic kids. And like, I'm literally like, okay.
I'm going to get your kid's life together for you.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You know, it's
when
like.
they don't have the time to actually work with them because they're running their lives.
Because it's like, I'm trying to think of what I am in the world of like mental health, because it's in the field of mental health. But it's kind of like, really, honest to God, more people need this, like life coaches.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you need to get out of bed. Like, what are you doing for yourself today? Like, did you do this? Can you do this? Like, what are we doing here?
Do you think it's just they don't have the ability to do that, or you think it's just because they've...
A lot of our job is to prove if they do or not.
Okay.
So, you know, some of our things is like, hey, Tim, point to the water. Oh, I shouldn't have pointed. But I'm like, hey, Tim, look at this water on the table. I want you to point to the water. And to see if they can even get it, because it's really just a giant communication barrier.
Yeah.
And if like little Timmy points to the paper and not the water, it's like, okay, try again.
You have a different understanding of.
Point to the water, buddy. It's like, yes. And then it's just kind of connecting that this is what the word water goes with.
But do you think that's a hindrance on their intelligence, or do you think that's just their understanding of how they've perceived doing things compared
I
to
feel like
what
intelligence
you have?
can't even be measured yet up until you just figure out communication. Because literally, just imagine talking to somebody who just doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know how smart they are until like you can actually establish communication with them. And so our job is kind of like being on the front lines of that to a certain degree, because you don't know, like, so again, like if you are in Mexico and you don't speak any Spanish and everybody around you is trying to make you like do these things,
You feel a little bit of dumb. You just don't fit in right now.
Yeah.
You're dumb.
Yeah, and then you got.
But you're not. You just don't know the language.
And you can pick up on behavior, like even though you didn't say the words dumb, I can tell if you don't want nothing to do with me, right?
Yep.
Like that doesn't disappear, you know? So like these kids, like they, and it varies for each and every one of them, but the majority of them are like, okay, I'ma just do me. And then we gotta like rein them in and be like, okay.
You have to communicate with the world here.
Yes. Like, okay, so why are you banging your head on the wall?
Yeah.
Does this mean angry? Are you angry? Point to angry. And then we just like work on building that basic communication.
Yes.
So yeah, that's been my job. But then, you know, I've been going to like homes, clinics, school, and various types of kids all across the spectrum, all across ages, races, all of it, gender. And
so people are still actively wanting you to do that.
Yeah,
with
but it's
all
tough.
of COVID going on.
It's because I have reduced hours now. I went from 40 to 8.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's whenever the school shut down, because that's where I was mostly at, was working in schools. But then it's kind of like I'm having like a moral quandary. There we go. With what I do now, because, okay, like I teach emotions, right? How do I do that with a mask on? I'm like, hey, buddy, how do I feel? I did that the other day. I was like, from a distance. I'm like, I'm really having to use the whole of my body, like all the time, you know? And I'm like.
So do you think we're learning a new form of communication now?
I think we're learning that we had an old way and we're going back to it, where it's like you gotta.
You think we should go back to clicking?
Oh,
wait,
God,
no, I shouldn't do that. Is that considered appropriation of some kind of culture in Africa or wherever?
Oh, until you mentioned Africa.
Yeah, because I think there
well,
are.
Then now
like,
there will be
Yeah.
But you're half black, Tim.
Yeah, I can't get canceled. Fuck that. You can't take me that damn serious. Oh no. Yeah. I just can't believe that they'll have you go into their house. You know,
Yeah.
you'd be considered a complete stranger at the beginning.
It
and
goes
then,
from parent to parent. So it's like one parent, you know, will want you in their house, and then the other, it's like, I don't want none of y'all.
You think it's necessary though?
Because the only way that you can kind of like learn and grow is like socially.
Yeah.
It really puts the emphasis on like, oh man, it really is important for people, like especially kids, to be around other kids to learn like what's appropriate and what's not. And that everything doesn't revolve around them or like what happens in the space. Like in your home, like how many times do you actually use manners, right? Like you know the people in your house. You know, you pass me that over there.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't really talking unless you just want to start a conversation. But whenever you're in public, you're like, hey, hi, my name is this. Or hey, buddy, what's, you know.
Yeah,
like
it's thinking of how your community indoors is completely different than the outside community.
And then like having to teach him just why he's at home why any kid is at home right now. All of us technicians have been like, okay, has your, family, have you explained to your kid like why they're home? And tried to explain to them like that because one of the biggest things is that they need like set boundaries and schedules most of the time. And with COVID and everything that's happened, it's like,
everything's out of whack.
Yeah. So it's been like hugely detrimental to like a lot of autistic children right now.
Before COVID happened though, what would be the main reason why they would have you come in?
It depends case by case. Like some kids just can't sit still, and we're just there to like reinforce the behavior of sitting still in the class and reinforce the behavior of giving the teacher attention. We don't know if you listen to teacher, if you can understand, but these are the behaviors you need to do right now.
Yeah.
And then at this time, you can go and run around and be buck wild. Or, like you can have a case where like, okay, they discovered girls, and it's a boy who discovered girls. It's like, okay.
You got some hormones in play now.
We got some hormones.
That doesn't mean that they've got a mental issue. It's just
No.
hormones will change the way that you think.
Teenagers be teenagers.
I mean, mind you, what did I think of Car Wash? Yeah, I mean, I had a whole different view of that, and I ain't watched the movie. I just made that shit up, and but where was my mind at?
And actually, no, wait. Think about that though. Think about like how we at least got sex ed. And like we can understand what it is and the concept of it and like what it means. And then like so then imagine again that language barrier, right? Now don't even call it like a mental thing. Just call it the language barrier and be like, well, how do you explain any of this to someone who you're just trying to get to, this is a chair. Yeah. This is water. Now we got to explain these concepts of, okay, personal space. No means no. Yeah. Crush. Crush versus attraction, because there's the people you think are cute versus the ones you actually really want to. Yeah. And then like, what's a girlfriend? What's a boyfriend? What's a them friend? You know, like, and that isn't our job, but like we kind of like have to deal with it because everybody feels like it's not their job, like after a certain point. And it's like, okay, well then who's going to do this for the kids? So most of the time, sorry job, I like have to like, you know, play ambassador for my kid and be like, no, he's not. Or she's not, or they're not, like, crazy, or, like, exhibiting anything, what we call maladaptive, bad, but maladaptive, like, things we don't want to see, like biting yourself, or, like, hitting your, you know, like, self-harm, or harming others, or destroying things, is what you would call maladaptive. I'm like, this isn't that. Like, they're just genuinely curious. You know, look at all these, and they're modeling their peers. Look at all these boys up in other girls' faces. And you tell me what he's supposed to do or what she's supposed to do in regards to like boundaries and social etiquette when these kids don't even know what they're doing. Kids without our services become, I don't want to say become, but you see what's happening to like neurotypical people who've been locked up in a house for so long or been denied socially for so long, right? And how everybody's going stir crazy. Like even just back when everything started and everybody was like, you could go do that workout you always wanted. You could make your own bread. You could start your own business.
Too much coming in and not knowing what to do or just being too busy.
Or just being too busy. And then at the end of the day, just not knowing how to cope with just everything that was happening. And not knowing when, like, how to deal with the uncertainty of when do I go back to work? When do I start life again? When do I do school again? So yeah, like our kids are like facing that too, and it's like rough because they don't even have the consistency or the routine to fall back on like we would, like, you know, like just going on Netflix and just chill, you know, and then knowing that something might change or being able to keep track of the news about when. And it's not even their concern, but like unemployment and all the other things happening around us. They don't understand what's happening around them. And then they just like regress socially.
And that's going back to the kids, actually, this happening to them, right?
Bingo. Yeah. So full circle, you know, everybody's like regressing and the kids more so, and you just really see it. So that's been disheartening for a lot of us to kind of, especially for that initial month when everything was shut down, and to come back and be like, oh my God, like all the work of just, you know, like, I don't know if you know what echolalia is.
No.
It's, so, say no again.
No.
No.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotcha. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know when to stop.
I don't know when to stop either. So, when you have a kid who has that and autism, and you try and teach something like, you're welcome. Not thank you. They get thank you, but they don't get the concept of you're welcome.
Oh.
So, you know, that took a while.
As in, they don't know how to take that in and respond to it, or just
take it in? Well, they can be like, oh, thank you. Thank you. So you say thank you again.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
You're welcome. So do I say it after, do I say thank you, or do I say you're welcome,
So they feel like they just need to respond with the same thing you told them.
Yeah, because they're like, well, I'm trying to, like sometimes they just learn by like imitating the sound. I'm like, okay, well, is this what you say after this word? You say you're welcome. Okay, so that's like if someone in Spanish was saying gracias. I was like, oh, no, gracias, you know.
I'm done with that.
De nada.
Yeah.
De nada, gracias. Gracias. Oh.
We're in a cycle that we can't get out of.
Basically. And that's kind
And
of...
I'm confused because I don't want to respond that way.
Yeah.
So there's a communication issue
Yeah,
right there.
and so that's...
the parents are fighting that.
Yeah, and that's like one tiny thing that's happening that I've like had to go back and fix, like teaching someone the concept of you're welcome. And then not being around other people to practice it because you're not really speaking that way at home. Yeah. So that's like, I know it took a while, but that's like just a little taste of what it's like for these families and these kids who have been home for this long. And then like, as far as New Orleans and how it's just going to recover in general, really I have no clue. I know have you been keeping track of the restaurant industry? Because
we could consider that done for the year. I feel that because I know I'm not going to go to a restaurant for the rest of the year.
Right. Well, and even just right now, there's this big upheaval with everyone in the industry. Like they're having their kind of Me Too moment now, right? Like right now. Like they had one kind of before, but right now they're getting a reckoning where in the midst of COVID, we had like Black Lives Matters really spark into life again.
Yep.
And so now a lot of restaurants are under fire by like random chefs and kind of foodies and like bloggers and journalists who are like going on social media and starting platforms and saying, this business in New Orleans is absolutely racist, and here's why.
They're starting to clean. They have the chance to clean house, and guess what? They're going to clean house.
They clean it like, they're like, well, I ain't got no job anyway.
It's almost like we saw all of y'all shut down, and now we're going to control who comes back because we don't want the shitty people coming back.
Basically. It's like a whole new reckoning. A giant reckoning's coming because it just started with like restaurants, and now like all the businesses are kind of like being enveloped in fire. It's weird because suddenly all their former employees are like submitting, their anecdotes and what's been happening at work. I'm like, so they just like a lot of businesses that probably at the top of the list is Crew. Are you familiar with them? They make glass. They are under fire.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Weren't they like an Old Navy or a Gap or something like that?
They're kind of close. They do.
Oh, no, that's J. Crew, right?
J. Crew.
That's the name of is that the one you're talking about?
No, Crew isn't like Mardi Gras Crew. Krew.
Oh, no. I didn't know that.
Like they're pretty big in New Orleans. They've gotten like sponsors. I think like Beyonce's used them one time.
Well, is that the same? No, I'm thinking of just our regular crews here. So you're saying this one is a specific crew? Or
yeah,
is it
it's just the name of the business. The name of the business is Crew. But also Knicks like got under fire too because their like members like started talking about, okay, this is how like racially bad everything is with our so like a bunch of like it's just names. Right? Like it's just been a giant
call them out.
Cleansing.
Yeah, I'm
purge.
About it.
Yeah,
I'm for it.
Everybody's just getting everything out. So it's like even if New Orleans did start up again, like it's like what does that look like now after all y'all done had this beef? Like they letting some stuff out. I'm like I don't imagine, just are you really gonna go back? They said some stuff.
They change.
They was like. And they be clocking them and some serious issues happening. And now it isn't even just about race anymore. It was just a gateway to say, and look how sexist they are too.
Oh, damn.
And now so all the women are like starting to share their stories about their injustice in the workplace, which is too many to name right now. But all that to say, revolution? I don't know.
Well, it's going to happen. The big change is going to happen no matter what. And no matter if who likes it or not, it's going to happen. No matter political side or whatever, everything's about to shift, in my opinion. But when it comes to, so we know the economy for New Orleans is kind of bad, and we don't know what's going to come from it. What are you going to do to change your, business model and what you're doing? Because you went from 40 to 8 hours, and is there anything new popping?
Yes. So for my co-vacation, I decided to invest in my friends while I had the time. Boop. Right?
Is that why you're here?
Yeah. Starting with you, actually. First with this and just talking podcast and how to put all this together and what that vision, that's been since March. And so yay. And
come to life.
And then I've helped another friend with her project in making a curriculum for technology and computer science, and then various other ones. But the one I'm doing like myself is my own podcast. What's
that called?
It's called So You Want to Be a Better Ally.
How do I be a better ally?
Oh, baby. Let me tell you.
I think I'd be better now than I was back then when you first knew me, right?
Leaps and bounds. And because you knew me.
Isn't this considered being an ally right now?
This is good. Yes.
This is it. This is
right?
a good
Because you're
start.
giving a platform. Yes.
There you go.
Right. Good
Woo!
job.
Yes.
Or is it friendship? I feel like it's a mix of both. This is good allyship.
It takes one to allow the other to happen, though. You know?
Yeah. They can come in any order, I think.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm...
But I mean, it would, one can come before the, friendship, then ally, friendship,
Yeah.
Because there are people you work with, you're like, oh, yeah, we work well together, but,
I only work with myself. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, David. I took that away from David. Blame it on the pastelaya. Ooh, that lunch was good.
That lunch was good. Sponsored by Pastelaya.
No. Sorry, Jambalaya Shop. We just talking about your pastelaya.
Baby, I'm going to be talking about I'm like,
Drop some coins, please.
please, monetization.
That's not going to happen for a long time.
But will eventually.
To the 2 people listening, thank you.
Amen. And listen to mine. So you want to be a better ally. Available where you can get all podcasts. Because I checked. And can we really just talk about the work of putting in a good podcast?
You see them podcasts out there?
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. Mine's just going to be all audio, and it's focusing on children's books, teaching mostly white people and white allies how to be better at their job, which is like supporting their friends of color. And specifically black friends, because I'm black and I'm going to talk about me and mine's first.
Now, hopefully you're going to approach this not at a yelling at somebody standpoint, but as more of an educational, more of a, I'm trying to help you as much as I would want to be helped.
Bingo.
In moving forward from here.
Bingo. I'm using children's books to do it all.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people are like throwing out literature and read this, read that. And it's like at a college level, most of it. And
these are some smart ass children if they're reading on college level, huh?
Well, allies. A lot of people are giving adults all this literature about, okay, this is how you, and you need to read this, and then second, you need to do the work. And that confuses, that's audio.
They probably fighting down there. Who knows what they're doing? They're cutting up. They know we're talking up here. So they're just like, when can we talk? Right. We're talking about dogs, people. I've got 4 dogs downstairs.
I'll just edit that part out too.
I didn't care. I don't mind telling them.
Just the woofs. Right. So giving kids books to adults, because right now everybody just gives adults 2 things. They give them this reading list of whatever they need to read, and then just the words, do the work.
That's what I was given. Even when I was going to middle school, there'd be a teacher that walk in, and maybe that's just tells you what Louisiana education does for you. They walk in with maybe 10 pages stapled together. Give everybody one at a desk. Have that done in the hour, and the teacher would walk out. So basically, you're just looking at definitions and filling it out, and it's like, I'm not learning anything from this.
Bingo. Okay, so good. I'm glad you said that, because if you tell that to an adult who's trying to understand the complexities of race and how that's like interwoven in society, and they do want to learn, and they know it's not literally black and white, and you want them to get better at it, the last thing you would do just as an educator is just throw a whole bunch of material down, no direction, no guidance, and then say, I'm out. Now, on the one hand, it's like, okay, like don't expect everyone of color to help you with this, because that's what you call emotional labor. Because think about it, you wouldn't go to a survivor of Auschwitz or like anyone from the Holocaust, and you would tell them, I really want to know what it was like to be a Jew during this time, right? Right, you wouldn't do that. No. And this is, it's a charged example, but this is the same thing. You're telling people to dig up emotionally heavy experiences, history that has like changed the scope of their family for generations. And you then want them to talk about it like all the time. My initial rant that became the cornerstone of my podcast was because I had nothing but white friends text me, like, what should I do? Oh, I feel so bad. Like, how do you...
I remember you telling me that you were getting drained by them all bombarding you of, what should I do? I really don't know how to process this. How would you do this? It's like, oh, okay.
I really don't know how I should.
I'm going to find a place for you to get this information.
Bingo. And I was like, I could just, because part of me is just like, and I have the right to be dismissive about it. Like, I'm like, you could Google it, you know?
You have the choice, ladies and gentlemen. You have the choice.
You do. So I'm like, I could do that. Or, you know, I can do what I've really gotten great at with working with these autistic kids and just in the scope of my like 10-year history with kids and in nonprofits and all this stuff, and have a difficult conversation. Like, I've gotten very good at having difficult conversations with people, whether they wanted it or not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how do I give to this movement? How do I push this forward? Okay, if you're asking me, that means you care about what I think. So I'm just going to take it like that. It's that you care about what I'm thinking. So then I choose then to inform you on a level and in a way that you can understand. And it's not going to be giving you this college level essay. It's going to be giving you this children's book that I know you read. Because what are the chances that you know that you are intimately familiar with W.E.B. Du Bois's work, bell hooks, Toni Morrison, the people you are like hearing the most. James Baldwin gets thrown out every time something racial happens. You know, have you read any of their material? You know, for the majority, you know, of these people that we're asking to be better allies? Probably not. And are they going to?
Probably not.
No, because at adults at this point, you know which ones or who are actually going to do this are the ones with library cards. And if y'all ain't even got library, you know, I'm like, I can't.
There ain't much I can do for you.
So I'm like, but what are the chances that you've read Matilda, Holes, The Hungry Hungry Caterpillar, Where the Wild Things Are, The Chronicles of Narnia? All right, so then let me just use that and then translate all these like ideas about critical race theory into this format so that you can just understand how like the caterpillar is a colonizer. And, you know, we can have another talk about what rioting and protesting is with Holes, because you have Stanley Yelnats and you have his best friend Zero, who hits somebody in the face with a shovel because he's done being mistreated because of his race.
And look, that's stuff I didn't even know right there.
I mean, you could have Where the Wild Things Are, where it's like, okay, it's a simple book about this kid who's angry, or like, do you know where you're putting your anger? Because people have a wild rumpus up in the comments section, up and down on social media, where they just think they can just let it all out. Like, do you have a safe space for your anger that isn't hurting anyone else, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm using all these like children's books to do. And I'm like very fortunate to have like all these wonderful people in my life to help make this happen. So that's currently what I'm super most excited about in my life, leading me into a whole different direction in my life.
So do you have something already done, like you're ready to release, or is this still in a development phase?
Development, because initially I was just getting my phone. I was
Voice memo number 508.
And I was like, okay, if we're gonna be serious about this, Sami, get serious. And so I dug out my good old Yeti mic and, you know, dusted off my Adobe Audition. And then just really started putting in the work of, okay, if I do a podcast, then I got to do all these other things around this to make sure this is legit, because I apparently actually really care about it. Yeah. So I have like the outline of everything done, and to make sure, because there's so many people who want to clock you on being verified, especially whenever you talk about race.
What do you mean verified?
Verified, validated. They want to make sure.
Is that blue check mark on Twitter?
I believe it. Yes, they want a blue check mark.
Yeah, you know Tinder has a blue check mark now.
What?
I just got it.
What?
But I talk to people though.
Like
Tinder has a blue check mark. Child, it's because they be catfishing still in 2020.
Oh, okay. So this is like, I'm like, why would they need that? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you pick up the signs about catfishing?
If it's still happening in 2020, obviously not.
Okay, so we need a verified check mark.
So now you gotta get that photo in and do that pose and do. I don't know how often they're gonna do it, because I think once you get the blue check, it don't disappear.
So then I could just.
And you know, that's another thing. Not to cut you off. If they give a blue check, you should have to renew your blue check.
Yes. I was about to say, so then it's just gonna, I only got to prove I'm real once?
Yeah.
And just catfish them.
Yeah.
And then I can keep catfishing.
Yeah, I'm going to use them same old catfish photos.
Secretly, right? You be posting things like, I'm this white man with this blonde hair with these blue eyes. Oh yes, I'm fit and I live in South Louisiana. Look how ripped I am.
And I have found that there are more women catfishing people now.
Oh, but you know what? Power to women. They earned it.
That's not supposed to be the
I
new
guess
movement.
not, but you know what? I like city girls. I listen to them, and they all about scamming people. So I empower women who scam.
Are they broads though? Because you know how you got different types of girls. Are they broads like where
No,
they're
they
just
city
raw
girls.
out there? Or so they're like our what you call that? Our what the
Not
hell is
like
it?
Broad City. These, city girls.
City girls like your Starbucks, basic girls.
No, like city girls, like the group, the rap group.
Oh, I never heard of them.
With
Is that-
JT and
is
Young
it-
Miami.
No, do you see we different generations here?
I can't. I mean, they're fair. Yeah, they are new.
I'm over here
They're
thinking.
Little Kim. They're like if Lil Kim had
I'm
two
old. I
daughters,
can do- yeah, okay.
right?
All right.
If she had two daughters and never had a filter, didn't go the Eve route where she got
Yeah,
calm,
yeah.
but like just had two daughters and just amped the shit up, that would be city girls.
Oh, that's Lil Kim having a what's her name? Coronavirus. Having one of them and what's that other one they had for a while? They had a beef. Oh, we making black folk. We not doing good on the black folk here.
I know me, people.
Well, you don't know who Cardi B was beefing with. Oh, Trace
wait,
over there
wasn't
knew
it
who. Nicki Minaj.
Wasn't it Cardi who was?
They both got big booties. Oh wait, no, Cardi B don't. That's Kim Kardashian. I don't know all these people. I'm just reaching.
You just trying to be hip.
I'm reaching. I'm showing how ignorant I am to pop culture.
Bless. Well, we know what podcast this is not.
We are not gonna talk music. I don't know shit about music.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, we'd be in here jamming up. But I don't know how to jam.
Or have those licenses
What licenses?
to play the music.
We're not getting monetized. We ain't worried about that right now.
Quick.
Same licenses.
Like Trace over there waiting for them licenses.
Right. Shout out to Trace Dugard, producer manager.
Yep.
Audio engineer.
He ain't figured out the name of his business yet, but he gonna get it eventually.
Yeah, it's not important. It's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Whoa, he doing good here.
Right.
So back on track.
Okay, so as far as verified check marks go, I'm getting a bunch of colleagues of mine to help verify check on mine to make sure I'm not catfishing people with the wrong information, right? So I've got a bunch of professors and doctors on my side, ones with PhDs in speech therapy.
We need some now.
Mixed Dutch, yeah.
I heard it said like that. You really jumbled that one up.
I did.
Good example.
Right? Perfect example. Doctors of folklore, English, communications, because I plan on giving people actionable things to do at the end of me talking, because I think theory is nice, but when you say do the work to just anyone and you don't give them any instruction on what that work looks like, is it achievable? Is it measurable? Is it something I can attain in my lifetime? You just said do the work. So by the end of mine, I want people to be better at, I don't know, just even debating, just defending their arguments and their positions, remembering to fact check themselves before they do open their mouths, remembering to respect the other person on the other side of this screen.
And I think that's what we lack a lot of. Everybody is very quick to give their opinion, very quick to yell and scream, but then all of a sudden, okay, turn off your mic and turn your headphones on. We're speaking metaphors here, so it's like, I need to hear you now.
Bingo.
Because we both have something to say.
Bingo. Exactly. Yeah, so that's kind of my mission right now.
Nice. Mm-hmm. It's the food. The food has made me tired.
When you went on to the deep end with Tinder and Kev, I was like,
that was a random thought that just came to my head because you said verify, and I just remember, I got a blue check yesterday. No, because I was talking about blue checks, and I couldn't believe, because that's the only dating app I'll use right now is Tinder, because I don't got to worry about random shit coming in. Right. I just don't want nobody contacting me. Let me just look at the people that's there. So I was like, so what does verified mean? And I before I went and looked it up, I matched with somebody that was verified, and they still didn't answer me.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, hey, what's happening? Yeah. And I didn't get anything back. I said, so what's the fucking purpose of a verified check mark? Does that mean you actually answer? And then, of course, on Google, it's like, looked on Google, and it was like, oh, they're real people.
They're real. So
they
now
verified
I really
their
know
photos.
that they're ignoring me.
Now
okay.
I know you're a real fucking asshole.
Right? It's verified.
There's some 30 seconds for you right there, Trey.
Yes.
Yes.
That was good.
I wanted to make sure I get that in because that is something that's a hot button topic of mine right now.
Oh wait, didn't you have the list of the other hot?
No, I do. I'm about to get to that.
Okay.
But I'm going back to detailing. So the future of the CRV here. What's your plans for it?
Should I get it coated?
I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it.
Tell me about
But
it.
hold on. Let's just talk about how it's the most expensive one in town. I know you're trying to save some money right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not trying to promote it or anything, but mind you, ceramic coating is better than a wax and a sealant.
Okay.
It does have some scratch resistance. Remember the cord? It was all swirled up and everything.
Yeah.
It resists all that.
Mm.
So basically, it'll look newer, longer.
How often do I need to do that?
Well, with Ceramic Pro, once it's installed, you come in for an annual inspection. But think, all year long. You're not waxing, you're not sealing. You come in for an annual inspection every year, and I make sure that the system is not broken, because it's a 2-part system. You've got 9H and you've got top coat.
Okay.
So your 9H is your hardness. That's titanium dioxide. That is permanent. It's not going anywhere unless you get some sandpaper and you get it off that way.
Right.
The top coat's only going to last anywhere from 18 to 24 months. So
Okay.
guess what? It's going to be gone. It's a silicon dioxide based formula.
Okay.
Once that wears off, then you can start scratching the coating. It's going to get more damage to it because that silica content coating, part of the coating, that is what makes it slick, smooth, easy to clean, no scrubbing. Makes life simple. It really does. So your annual inspection, you're going to come in, I'm going to put you a new layer of that on. Okay. That's not even what Ceramic Pro recommends, but that's what I do to keep the system whole, because that's what I gave to you. So year by year, no degradation.
My little annual checkup for the car. I'm about it.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
Well, we'll see you in a couple months then.
Yeah, because I know I'm still learning this car, but I'm doing a way better job of taking care of it. And it's like now that I'm more self-sufficient and just mature, I'm like treating my vehicle the same way too. I think that's a nice extension. I think it's an extension of where everybody is in their life journey. It's like, how well do you treat your car?
Yeah.
Because if you're not treating that well, chances are you're not treating yourself well. Well either.
Well, if you happen to be me, you're kind of judgmental a little bit. You look at how they take care of their stuff. It makes me wonder how you take care of yourself and actually how you'll treat me, actually. Am I disposable? Am I somebody that you're just not really concerned about and just don't care what you say or do to?
Right.
You know, you can kind of tell that with some people. I think it translates across everything that they're doing.
Okay. Then as a client, what does it say about me and my Honda whenever I first brought that one in?
I just think you didn't know. I think and there's a lot of people that are not educated enough. They were used to, hey, I learned my dad did this or my grandpa showed me that, and they're just stuck in a cycle of something that they've been knowing for 30 years when there's new things going on. Clear coats have changed. There's new products out. There's better ways of taking care of things because as technology comes, it goes across the board on everything. Automotive detailing is one of them where technology has changed. So it's not just be out there in the driveway in the sun washing and using Dawn detergent. No, you don't do that. So I just think though you weren't shown, and you just picked up what you did along the way. Cars is not a big thing in your life either. You're more of a people person. You're more of trying to educate people on the things that you've learned through life and share. So you just needed somebody to say, hey, what about that car? We can do this. And then of course I came out of nowhere because of my ex.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. That's fair. I accept that. Yep. Yeah. No, I was definitely clueless, especially since cars are like.
Well, for you, it's transportation. It's to get to where you gotta go.
It's just, so.
But that doesn't mean that your car doesn't deserve the same thing as mine.
Bingo. No, I like that because you're right. Like, so back in the gap, like whenever we first started talking and I was like, it's like plastic surgery and how like, it is like a luxury.
Yeah.
But, it is kind of like necessary.
Yeah.
For your car, right?
Yeah.
And I guess kind of like earlier on, whenever I first had it, I'm like, my car doesn't need this, it's fine. It doesn't need any of this extra attention. If anything, if not even, what are these people called? Basement aestheticians?
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a lot like that. It's like, no, your car still need a facial, still need some exfoliant, still need a serum.
Or even like the dermatologist, kind of the things you don't know about that the dermatologist can tell you to better yourself.
That's what you are. You're a dermatologist for cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I make anything look good.
I mean, but you're just enhancing what's there, right?
Yes.
You know,
Or just keeping it the way it should be.
keeping it, looking out for bad health signs. Yeah, like a car dermatologist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it like
There's your
just came
metaphor.
up with something there. Well, we don't need to add anything to the end on that. But hey, yeah, I never thought of it that way either.
Yeah, that's what you got me.
Yeah, you're smarter than me. I know that.
Well, no, I just see things from a bunch of different perspectives. And I'm like, oh, so I'll see it like this, like there. Because like a smart person would have said, oh, yes, well,
You sound like a professor that I never listened to when I was going to UL. Or
Well,
USL.
wah, 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 right? That's a smart
Wait, that's my generation. Charlie Brown, you're right.
US. Yeah.
No, that's my mom's generation, actually.
I mean, but we all grew up with the Christmas tree. So, you know, I can claim it as well.
Oh, thinking about all this, and I
But wait, you found out something else about my car too that I didn't know. Because I was like, Tim, I'm doing great on my car. Like I know about my tires. I use synthetic oil. Did I tell you I knew that? I knew, and I know how to change it.
That's great. That's great. But there's these little facts that some people don't know about their vehicles.
Like what?
So, are we doing a commercial here?
Nah, he really didn't tell me, but he said he had something to tell me. I want to know.
Y'all, I wasn't even gonna tell him what this fun fact was.
But he like mentioned milk, so I was like, what?
And that grabbed his attention.
Yeah.
So, in in the dairy farmlands in the western part of the United States, 90% of all farmers bought their daughters Honda Accords from 2001 to 2005. And they used it to deliver milk to smaller grocery stores. I love that dead air. Fun fact. Do you think anybody else would know that?
No.
Love it.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
So I was just going around like a little dairy farmer.
I had to dig for that too.
That's deep.
It's very hard to find something on Honda or Toyota. Those brands are so boring.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. And you got the same.
I mean, I went from one, like I shifted,
Yes.
you know.
You got to pull up a newspaper article from, I think, I'd have to look at it downstairs on the laptop, but I think it's from 8 years ago. Everybody, you got to go to Google and you got to go, when you see those ... dots past page 24, you got to go to those ... dots.
I mean, I guess it tracks. Like I had to do work for a cattle ranch one time. It wasn't a dairy farm. And it wasn't working the land.
But you didn't deliver milk to a little store anywhere.
But I mean, maybe my Honda wanted to do that.
And the maximum capacity is 125 gallons in the trunk.
Okay.
What?
Gallons of milk? So now I can carry that many gallons of milk? Oh, I guess I just feel like I used that car all the wrong way now.
Now, mind you, got to take it out the plastic. You got to seal up your trunk and everything.
But I could have been like a Borden delivery man.
No, you can't go take the gallons in the gallon and put it in there. There's a lot of wasted space. It's like if you poured 125 gallons in there, that'd be your max capacity.
So who found that out? Like you can carry.
Technically, without me knowing this from that article, you could probably look it up because I think overseas, of course, they use a metric system and they use cubic meter. And there's a cubic meter measurement for trunk space and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you got me. That was good.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. Fun fact.
Okay, I'm good. That was okay. You did. Okay, you did it. All right. Okay, that's good.
I didn't want to share that because who gives a damn about that fact?
I mean, that was random AF.
I'm ashamed too now.
But at the same time,
But I loved it.
Oh my
I
god,
wrote it down. I'd loved it. I wrote it down. But then I thought about it. I was like,
it made it to the show notes.
I'm gonna skip it. And yeah, but that's okay. But yeah, there you go. And then Trace learned something too.
Okay.
Oh, and everybody, and the two people listening heard that. So podcasting. So I have a podcast. You have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how long do you think you're gonna do yours? Is it just gonna be a short series? Is it gonna just kind of carry on until some changes are made, or until you feel everybody's educated? Or, I mean, do you think it's something that's always needed?
I know in my mind like because I was doing my outline this week for like my first 2 seasons. And I was like, okay, so what happens after this? Because I feel like there would be more. And there's like a lot of avenues to take to the next level of this conversation. So all that to say, I don't know if it will. I know the answer to your direct question is yeah. I don't think it stops anytime soon. I don't see it as like a mini series or like a, I know when I'm done with it, I was like, okay, what do I do when I'm done with it? I'm like, okay, well, like I said, like in the beginning about it, it's like I'm talking about like the Black experience because that's what I am. Yeah. And I'm like putting that at the forefront. So I'm like, well, what if, I still use this, like practice what I preach, take the same platform and then give it to hopefully a host of a different mix of intersectionality, right? Whatever they are. And then they carry on and start talking about things. Because I'm never going to be able to talk about like the Latinx perspective in a way that I'll ever be. Like I can like give them a shout out. Yeah, but going into depth and saying like this book was a lot like this. Like there's some overlap there when it comes to experiences. But I'm like, well, wouldn't it be cool if like I could just give a platform for everyone else to do what I'm doing so that people really can get it? Because that's one of the reasons why I'm like making it as big of a thing as I am. It's because anytime I do make a metaphor and it connects with people, I'm like, oh, you get it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you got it. And then they like...
the light bulb goes off.
It goes off. And then with that, I'm like, it worked. Okay.
I did my job.
I did my job.
Now it's up to you to continue with what I've brought to light, and maybe your perspective or maybe your attitude towards it will change.
Bingo.
For the better.
For the better.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I can do it with this, then why not give it to the next version of me in a different form and let them do it? Kind of like James Bond. Just let the next actor come in and pick up where I left off.
So, I mean, then does that mean, okay, when, let's just say a torch being passed?
Right. Because there's an ally for like allies are just needed for everything. Yeah. So I'm like, that's why I kept the name ambiguous too. I was like, well, I don't want to pigeon it to just BLM specific. I just was like, if I keep it broad, that means my ideas can stay broad.
And, I've been listening to, a few other podcasts, and they've been talking about Black Lives Matter. I want to get your take on it. Do you think there's some kind of hidden agenda between that? Where they say that, okay, Black Lives Matter started as a good thing, and then some other people have hijacked it. Some other, what do you call those people? Not Antifa or anything like that, but just other little organizations that are trying to get their own political thing going on. You think that's going on with Black Lives Matter?
I mean, doesn't it happen with anything that's like trending? Remember when Me Too came out and it was actually, I got to look this woman's name up. Dang it. Because the point I was going to make was, and I guess this makes the point, Black woman who started the movement, then it was kind of like usurped by all the white actresses in Hollywood, right? Yeah. Everyone from Reese Witherspoon to Natalie Portman to Gwyneth Paltrow, all are the centers of Me Too, like we created. They don't claim it, but they're like now the center and the faces for it. Yeah. And I feel like Black Lives Matters is kind of like experiencing that too, because there are even articles like my friend Nick shared one about don't turn Black Lives Matters into Black Life marketing. Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of like, it's sad how capitalism works because now people are seeing an opportunity to make money off of it because a lot of it was, in Black Lives Matters was support Black this, support Black this, support Black local this. Yeah. And those are all good things. But then great example, I just got a shirt and it's from this place called, and you tell me if this sounds Black owned, Natural Store. Right.
But in a way, I take offense to that because I don't want to just that word's connotation always been thrown at people in a negative light, though. Right. You compare your nappy hair. Think of what's his name. Don Imus said, nappy headed hose. Right. You think I want to hear nap anymore? Right. No. How about you just say I've got good hair just like you do, or maybe mine's a little bit more. I need to do a little bit more maintenance to mine. Maybe I'm doing something different, but please don't do that. I think of the negative connotation of it, I guess.
And it's coded, right? Like it's something that's specific, like someone who is in the know said this. Yeah. So then tell me why, I got a shirt from them and it has like all these like Black cartoon characters. And I was like, oh, awesome, I'm gonna get that shirt and support this Black owned store. And then like as soon as I bought it and like left a review of how much I liked the shirt once it got in, like this random Black woman messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, just so you know, that site's a scam. They're actually Vietnamese.
Oh,
They're all run from Vietnam, and they're pretending to be a black-owned store.
to capitalize
Off of
what's hot and popping.
Yeah, steals artwork from black artists on Instagram and on social media, puts it on a shirt, sells it. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? And I knew it was happening, but then I'm like, what?
Yeah, you're like, I wanted to support a good thing and help, but you just got me.
Yeah, so you're always gonna find that's where I need like the verified check mark, like to come back, like you black verified check,
BLM check mark,
right?
Oh no, you think it's gonna wear itself out in a sense where it turns into a cancel culture thing?
I mean, by definition, I think the two are different because so many people who have issues with Black Lives Matters and just the statement are like hearing something totally different. Like I just said that in the context of American history and my people's history since they got willfully on the boat, they get right?
How to change
since they went on a cruise to America, my ancestors. And then since then, we've been playing this game of Monopoly that we haven't been allowed to play, like in that one clip going, we're just saying, like, we want to catch up. Like, we want our lives to... We didn't mention pursuit of happiness. We didn't say we didn't say nothing. We were just like, we just want to matter. I think something just Lafayette specific to show this example is like, do you remember the case of Keisha Felix? And she was like a missing black girl from this area, disappeared at the same time as, may she rest in peace, Mickey Shunick. No shade to Mickey Shunick whatsoever.
But who took the spotlight?
Right. Who was the only one that was covered, really?
That's what I mean. There's only one spotlight. It went in one direction.
And it's like, and again, not bringing anything wrong to the because nobody should have to experience that. The discussions that came up around then, though, in our classes, especially since I was taking broadcasting classes in the time, was like, are Black people even treated differently in the media? And my answer was yes. And like they were doing like a poll and a survey on it, and I pointed exactly to this case where there's a missing Black girl and her life didn't matter, right? And I stayed in, like, not in touch, but I kept track of that page years, and they never found her. And they were like updating well into 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's, I think, the last time I really looked at it that I could look at it. And so that's all we're trying to say. It's like the same amount of media attention that one case got. Can we please just give it to this one too? Like, nobody's trying to make anyone feel less than. And that hurts me whenever I'm like, no, we're not trying to play who has it worse. We're just trying to say, like, this is bad. Let's just make it better. That's not cancel culture. We're not going out there and saying, like, okay, you need to get fired. You need to get fired. We're just saying we would like to get hired.
Yeah.
We would just like to get hired in one place.
But I do know that there are instances in places of the country where it turns into a cancel culture thing because if you say Black Lives Matter, you get canceled because you're in an environment where people don't want to hear about it anymore. That's what I mean by it. In a way, and I think it's happening because people's attention span is so short and they don't care.
Yeah. So
they just are tired of hearing about it. It doesn't mean anything to them, and they want it to go away. And I think that's wrong. And I think that's what's happening in certain parts of the country. Because, of course, I don't stay in the little box around here. I'm listening to podcasts that are all over the country, and I'm hearing about that, and I think that's pretty sad.
It is. And it's like cancel culture goes both ways. Like there are plenty of people on the wrong side of the fence of things.
People in cancel culture forget the canceling they do is coming for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, we're calling it cancel culture, but it's been around for forever. It's just critics with a new name,
Yeah, you're right.
And like you say, like, yeah, some people do get canceled because they're like in support of Black Lives Matters. Mm-hmm. It's interesting whenever I started like finding guests for this podcast that I really started to have to put at the forefront, I'm talking about how Black Lives Matters. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't assumed or inferred that I care about that, and that created some conversation. I'm like,
we don't have to be outside yelling and screaming about it to actually care and be thinking about ways to make it better or to support.
Yeah, one comment I got was, so this is a political podcast. I'm like, well, no.
How is
I can't No.
Yeah, and it is politicized too much as well.
It is. So
But,
it's-
and that's where I found that's where I first went down that rabbit hole of finding out this canceling was happening in Black Lives Matter, because they were also saying that it was politicized and it was another way of each side to keep themselves divided from others.
Right.
I'm no expert in any of it. I just know that there's too much inequality, and I've dealt with it all my life. So,
Same.
I mean, and that's me coming from a multiracial family.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I mean, I'm like, there are two conversations we're hearing, and that's why I wanted to do my podcast, is to be like, are you sure you're hearing what you're hearing?
Yeah.
Because we're just saying this.
So whose problem do you think it is, though, to solve it?
I feel like,
Do you think it's the protesters and the people that are trying to bring the equality there, or do you think it's the people that have been ignorant to the inequality? Do you think it's their problem? Or do you think it's a joint operation? Because
it is. It's a system. It's a giant system. And with the protest, like, everybody has the role in the system. The protesters are saying, this piece is broken. Mm-hmm. You need to come here because this piece is broken. Mm-hmm. And it's broken, and because this is broken on the assembly line, everything else that it's connected to is broken as well. Mm-hmm. So some people are ending up with things, some are not. It's like Wish. Some people actually ended up with what they ordered, and some people just got a shoe. Like,
I ordered a pair of socks and I got a pair of eyeglasses.
yes. So then it's like, okay,
with
well,
one glass.
with one glass, and then the other's like shaped to like a star or something. I'm like, wait, this isn't what I ordered. So someone messed up in the factory, and like the protesters are trying to say, this is messed up. That's why that person got a shoe. That's why that person got glasses, but with no lenses. Listen to us. And then I think it's the manufacturer's responsibility, you know, the ones with power, authority, like to be like, oh, well, we got to address this issue.
Yeah.
And then I think it's in charge of the customers to say, hey, you gave me the wrong stuff.
Yeah, this isn't right.
I shouldn't just accept it and turn a blind eye to it. I need to tell you, hey, you gave me the wrong stuff. Mm-hmm. 1 star. Like, I don't know if I'll be buying from you again.
Why they don't get 2 stars?
1.
Effort.
If I could do half. You gave me a shoe, and I wanted what? What's something you get? Like a 3D projector. Like,
Oh, God.
right? You know?
I remember when they were posting things about Wish and all the random. There was actually a Facebook group of weird Wish
Oh, I believe
things.
it. I believe it.
Oh, it was just.
It's just too much ish.
Wish is like people at Walmart in a way.
Uh-huh.
You think it's a comedy? That's it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I wonder if that's what it really did, what it was meant for.
I believe it.
And they were like, "Oh, we got to ship something
Wish.
to make more
I
content."
feel like even just the name of it implies that you ain't got no money.
Wish.
Like,
You wish you were getting that pair of socks.
Right. Like, that's just the tech.
You ordered a pair of eyeglasses. You wish you were getting some lenses in them.
Don't you wish? Wouldn't it be good to dream? Like, that's what I feel like it's doing. It's like, you wish you had the money to afford this actual thing, don't you? Here is the shadow of it.
Yeah,
Like,
you wish you could shop on Amazon, right?
right? Oh, you wanted that new accessory for your car. Here's a sticker. Don't you wish you had one, right? And that's why I think like people are like confusing like the rioting and the protesting and all that right now too, because it's like y'all keep giving me this sticker. Like, I'm tired of this damn sticker.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, what do I have to do for you to realize that you're not giving me what I asked? Like the bare minimum. I just wanted the bare minimum.
Yes.
I just wanted 2 pair of shoes. Why I only get 1?
Yes, I don't care if them socks are made of the worst material. Give me 2.
I mean, at this point, I just want them to get to me.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon, though. There's some people, you know, as I read too about the whole, it's fading, it's going away. You know, if you don't think about it, it's gonna not be here anymore. But like we said earlier, the change is coming.
Right? And I mean, again, like the individuals are the customers in that long metaphor about Wish. Like, it's your job to keep up with the individual amounts of change you can commit to and tell people to stand by as well. And then, like, you know, if you just want half a shoe, okay, then you're going to get half a shoe. You know, I just don't know, like, who loses in this in a way that...
Well, the future of the country loses.
Yeah. But if like who loses in saying black life? Like what's the worst thing that could happen to you if you just admit that there are some discrepancies and that like it's happening?
But these are the people, the minority of people that have the loudest voice, and they don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah, they're like, you're done. We're done with the tantrum.
Yeah, we're done. You had your time.
Yep, let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
What was it? Because, like, it was around the same time as the frickin' bees, the hornets, the murder hornet.
Disappeared fast,
Didn't it, though? Because they were like, no,
Did they
black
catch
lives don't
COVID?
matter. And then, oh, no, wait.
I think
might
they
have
caught
caught the COVID. The hornets caught COVID.
Oh, my God. So how are you dealing with COVID, though?
I mean, I did come here, but I was, like, safe.
Yeah, I mean, we got our distance, and I mean, Trish
Right.
got a mask, you got a mask, we got a mask, but I
Right.
mean, we ain't.
The purpose of these mics, we can't wear them, but otherwise,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
right, but otherwise, handling it pretty well. I stayed to my damn self. I ain't out there trying to go to stores just to feel something.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop it. But just
And I mean, if you listen to the medical professionals and you just do what they tell you to do, which is mitigate your exposure and
Bingo.
and
Wear a
just do
mask.
some of these precautions. I heard somebody say something about, oh, well, it was my mom today, actually. She just lost one of her little church buddies. And, and the lady was like, I am covered in the blood of Christ and I can't breathe through that mask. And I don't understand that logic.
see,
Science don't care about they don't care about the blood of Christ or anything like that. This is a real thing. What happened when the flu first came out? If you look at pictures back in the day, they were wearing plastic. They were wearing masks. They were using methods of mitigation in the 1914s to stop the spread.
right? And just to meet that, because I know all too well the wonderful sect of Christians who were like, Jesus gonna protect me from this Rona. How will he do that? I
guess
just
Herman
approach him.
Cain was saved too, wasn't he? And I don't have no pity for him. I'm sorry.
Bloop, bloop.
Because you signed a waiver for something that was supposed to be a hoax. So why would you sign something to protect somebody else?
But just on a basic level, okay. Way back in the Gap, I had a pastor who gave me this metaphor. It's like people always be asking God for help, and then just not taking the help when God gives it to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was like, there's this family stuck on the top of a roof and it's flooding. And they're like praying for God to come rescue them. And, good old Cajun Navy floated on by and said, y'all need some help? Oh, no, God got us. And then
Bitch, that was God saving you right there.
Gone.
Oh.
Olympic swimmers came up to say, hey, y'all need some help? Oh, no, we good. God got us. And then, what was the last one? Oh, there's a helicopter. It was like, y'all need some help? We got this ladder. Oh, no, God's got us. Well, of course, the flood kept going and they drowned and they get to heaven.
God gave him many chances.
Right. They were like, God, why you didn't help us? I gave you this. I gave you that. I gave you a helicopter at the end. How do you think I work?
Yeah.
Like, do you think I just beam you up?
Am I going to part the sky and put my hand down and you jump
Right?
on it?
Bitch, this ain't Star Trek. I stopped doing that. I'm old now. All that brim and fire and pillars of fire. I don't do that no
He
more.
said, I found an outlet off this planet,
Right.
and maybe you will too one
I'm
day.
retired, God said. Like, I don't be doing all that no more. That's what y'all mean by the last days, right? We living in the last.
Yeah.
I'm retired.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Right. I'm like, all that to say, just take the help that's right there. I'm like, yeah, Jesus said, wear this mask, baby. He said, wear this mask.
But how is this country so hard-headed when we see all the other countries? I mean, all the other countries
Oh, yeah.
in this beautiful blue sphere we call Earth recovering, wearing masks. And that, but why does the nation of the free that's supposed to care about its fellow American citizens decide that they're so selfish that I'm not doing that because you're infringing on my rights?
Metaphor loading.
I just think it's a lot of self-entitlement and inconvenience, and
Buffering.
I think all of that stuff is just finally coming out of I kind of don't even know how to put it in words because I get angry about it, really. Because it is a lot of self-centeredness. It is a lot of selfishness. It is a lot of don't inconvenience me to save yourself.
And it sounds like it's kind of also another coded class war. Like, we shouldn't have to be, like you just said, like that's what it sounds. It's like we shouldn't have to be inconvenienced like this. Like, because it's weird. Like, COVID is so weird in that so many people like me and my friends all got affected, you know, losing our jobs, losing money, you know, having to be at the mercy of the government and everything they do. But I know some friends who never stopped working.
Yeah. And look, guys, we're not experts. We're not professionals in this matter. We're not medical people either. It's just regular people that are out here every day doing our jobs, exposed to this shit. And we got too many idiots that pretend like it's gone or we don't need to worry about it.
That's our verified check, that you know that we not trying to say we like, you know, our Dr. Fauci or who's the one that said, take the hydrochloronic.
That's Trump said take the hydrochloroquine. Oh, Burks also said. Oh no.
The crazy doctors.
Let me go backwards. I don't remember. So many of them talked, and then the
most recent ones that were just on the news, who were like validating all the conspiracy theories.
Oh, that crazy lady saying demon sperm and all this stuff. Oh, child, that's BillyBob.net over there. And they already said that was some kind of misinformation thing.
Stella Emanuel.
Stella Emanuel, you stupid bitch.
Thank you, Trace. That was Trace Dugar, manager.
Yeah, he's over there looking things up for us and keeping us somewhat honest, I guess. But fuck you, Stella.
Right. Yes, Stella. Something you hard and sandpapery. Bless.
I want to give you a cup of demon sperm. The hell with her. I don't care. I don't like misinformation. The hell with that bitch. Next topic.
There's going to be a part right there where I don't know where the camera was.
Ciao. So we got this lovely podcast here. Spent a bunch of money on all this stuff. You're here talking to me. I'm doing a whole lot of stuff for clients. Ciao, you know my business suffering, right? I had to go on unemployment because I ain't got no work.
See?
People can't afford the luxury of coming to me right now. So they get unemployment. Now, you were getting unemployment. You know we ain't getting that $600.
No.
And you know they found out that $600 is just 40 hours a week at $15 an hour. And all these heifers out here hollering about, well, you need to get back to work. But the job wasn't even giving me $600 a week. So there we have another problem in the system.
Yeah. It's like you want us to go back to work, but where is the work? You tell that to anyone in the restaurant industry.
So where did the middle class go?
Right.
So that lets you know if unemployment was paying better than jobs, our middle class is gone too.
I mean, it had been going for so many.
It had been deteriorating, but now we really see that it doesn't exist.
No. And that's why I think there's like such a, like I said, like a class warfare thing happening right now, because the haves and have-nots have finally like been revealed. You know, it's like kind of
they're so far apart that they think the other side is ridiculous.
Yeah. Like we were all running this rat race, right? And then we stopped and then we looked around because of COVID and it's like, wait, I thought I was with that group. You mean I'm with y'all group? You know? Mm-hmm. So it's like I said, like you got some friends who never stopped working. You got me and you who like did and then had to get the unemployment and, you know, and it's like for the ones who never stopped working, they never had to deal with the rat race stopping to see what we're all seeing now, which was like, this was so wrong. Like, this was so unfair. Like, and also this isn't sustainable.
No.
Like, check to check isn't a way to go, but that's what we've been doing. And like the ones who are still working now are kind of like, why is everybody upset? This is a hoax. This is just a giant inconvenience, because their lives in this rat race never stop. They're living in a whole nother timeline. Yeah. And we are like running parallel to them, but we're not intersecting. So I'm like, well, okay.
So would you, with that going on, you think they should just open the state and just say, hey, you people just get back to work. Everybody go back to the bowling alleys and go back to having your parties and yada, yada, yada. You think if everybody could wear a mask, we could all go back to work that way? Do you think if, there was, I'm not going to say proper testing. There is proper testing out there, but some people are just choosing not to do it. And then there's also people out there that aren't even telling people that they had COVID too.
And then most of the time, it just depends on the location if they even let you take the test. Because if you show no symptoms, but you want to get checked just to be sure.
That's still going on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, one of my friends just tried to get checked because someone at his job was exposed. And so then he was exposed.
But anybody can get tests. There's tests everywhere. It's easy to get tested.
They denied him testing because he had no symptoms. So he could have been asymptomatic and like wouldn't have known.
It's a hoax, but everybody in Washington, D.C. get a test every day.
But see...
So why they get a test every day?
And I just, at this point now, it's just defensive with the whole it's a hoax thing.
Yeah.
Like,
there's too many little loopholes,
There's just too many lives lost. Like at this point, the degrees of separation between people who know others that have died from COVID, it's like it's gone. Like, and not even died, but just who caught it. Mm-hmm. Like I know people, like I talked to one who caught it. Mm-hmm. And like, so I was like, okay, what do I do for the friends? So like my thing for them is like, if you're sick at home, you know, guys, and you got the COVID and you're trying to feel better, just let me know. I'll read you a children's book drunk. Mm-hmm. That's what I did for one brain. No, I don't even teach them with that. I'm just like, I'll just read you this children's book to make you feel better, since I got them right there anyway. So like for one friend who did get COVID, I read her The Hungry Hungry Caterpillar with a mimosa. And was like, and it was kind of
the
like,
adult version. There might be some ad-libbing, but we're going to get through this.
Right. It was like drunk story time. Kind of like drunk history, but like drunk story time.
Hey, that's not even on TV anymore, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
I think they found out that they were elaborating on a lot of that stuff.
So see...
Not just being drunk and a drunk elaborating, but like just telling a few fibs in history.
They were fabricating. Okay.
Yeah. To make it interesting so that they could be even drunker and more belligerent or whatever the heck they were doing.
More and more uses for that verified check.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, if Tinder got a blue check, everybody need one.
I
now.
mean, I mean, it was deep. It spoke to me. I was like, who needs a check mark in my life? That's what I was just looking off into the distance thinking. It was like, how many people I've been waiting on that verified check from? I could use a blue check.
Well, you got to be careful. Those blue checks don't mean shit sometimes because some people got them and don't need them. They don't deserve them, or they shouldn't have them to begin with. They cheated to get the check.
I know.
So when you go back to New Orleans, you live in an apartment, right?
Yes.
How are you cleaning the vehicle now? I know you ain't gonna be bringing it to me for a while.
You asked about the apartment and then the car. Wait, what?
Well, you live in an apartment though.
Yeah.
So I know it's difficult cleaning the vehicle because you don't have a covered space.
Oh yeah.
You know. Okay. You're exposed to the elements. You don't have.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You don't have access to a water hose. You probably don't have a little car.
Yeah. What
wash
do I
setup.
do actually? I meant to ask you that.
I'm just seeing what you know about it.
I mean, I know that to use the stuff that you gave me, but I was thinking of like going to like one of those like do-it-yourself car washes and just parking there and like putting stuff on. But
well, Trace, if he only knew some of the things that I have planned for him. So,
do I get a car?
As a previous client, here's a maintenance kit.
Oh.
So in that maintenance kit,
I can open it now?
You can open it now, child. So in that maintenance kit, you have an instruction for each bottle of chemical that's in there. Comes with microfiber towels.
Oh my God, wait.
And you eat the best cookies by...
Oh my God, cookies.
Cookies and Cakes by Candace.
Oh my God, wait.
So you don't even need to ask me how to use that because them papers on the top, those 3 pages tell you exactly what to do.
Look,
What
it's
each
Tim
bottle's
tips.
for.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could have easily told you something about, a different tip, but I will tell you one about those microfibers. So you see how the microfibers got 8 sides to it because it's folded into 4?
Yes.
So the way that is, that towel is folded is how you'll use each side. Don't ball the towel up and wipe side to side when you do it. I'm just going to tell you that.
Okay.
Life's going to be simple. And you wipe one panel with each side. And you know where the panel is, right? Wherever your lines separate your door from your quarter panel, from your hood and things like that. So technically that kit right there can get you through a car wash each time.
Oh my God.
So you got different chemicals and you're good to go.
This has a lot of cookies.
I got a lot of awards, baby. 7.
Okay.
So that's a cookie for each award that I've gotten.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. The thought.
Yeah, baby. Thank you, Candace.
Uh,
And there's something about Ceramic Pro so that if you decide to get
Yes.
Ceramic Pro in the future.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, so Sami, I appreciate you driving out here to Lafayette and, you know, showing some love and having a discussion with me. And you didn't expect that, did you?
I didn't. I'm floored.
And everybody, this is our first episode of Intersections.
Give me a moment to accept my stuff.
He can accept that while I'm talking. So this podcast is brought to you by Polish by Full Attention to Detail. If you need your vehicle taken care of in all appearance upkeep, go to www.fullattentiontodetail.com. Bye, everybody.